What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be doing a tutorial / guide centered around Adventure Week, specifically focusing on the feature of the buddy distance bonus that we end up getting. We're going to get times for the candy for the distance that we earn with our buddies. So people are asking left and right, which Pokemon should we focus on? I also asked this on Twitter just to kind of see what people wanted to see, and that ended up pretty much being the #1 option by a long shot of something that people want to know. They want a guide on this. Once you reach the normal milestone, instead of just getting 1 candy, you'll simply get 4. So for example, a Magikarp, once you reach that 1 kilometer, you will get 4 candies. So why don't we go ahead and jump into this video, and if it is helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. We're gonna go ahead and scroll over to the Garchomp family. This is easily going to be the favorite among what everyone wants to do as far as just a rare Pokemon is concerned. Rare for a couple of reasons. One, it being the most recent generation for Pokemon. We haven't exactly had the easiest access to it, like it isn't a raid boss or anything right now. So yes, people are definitely focusing on this, but a little bit of a trick related to this and something that you have to consider is you're gonna have to have one of these to be able to walk it as your buddy. So if you currently do not have one, what I would recommend you doing is just reaching out to people in your community, preferably best friends, because if you trade, it will only cost you 800 Stardust to at least get one of these. And for those of you out there who say, you know what, I caught a Gibble, but it was super low level, it was super bad IVs, I'm not gonna power it up. My advice to you would be to just hold on to it, because having just one will allow you to have it as a buddy, and then of course gain the distance throughout the entire event. You will have to walk 5 kilometers for this Pokemon, but you will earn 4 candies for every 5 kilometers that you do walk. So I definitely think it will be worth it. We're gonna go ahead and scroll down to the next one on this list, and that is going to be Rampardos. Now this is gonna be a little bit tricky, because technically this will be weather boosted. As many of you know, rock type will be weather boosted, but for the most part the rare ones tend to not get boosted as much. But we could easily see a Pokemon like this in at the 2 kilometer eggs, which is another feature of this event. So for me personally, what I'm gonna give you advice to do is to kind of hold out on this, because it is a rock type Pokemon, and if you end up not seeing it in 2 kilometers, it's just not popping up, and then of course you don't see it in the wild at all. Once you basically can confirm it's not going to get that increased spawn rate boost for it, then I would recommend setting it as your buddy. It will be 5 kilometers for you to get 4 candies. So for me personally, I'm gonna wait it out a little bit just to make 100% sure. And that's gonna be kind of the same concept with Shieldon and Bastiodon. Shieldon being in 10 kilometer eggs will also be in 2 kilometer eggs throughout this event. So for me, I don't want to prioritize this, but like I said, just kind of fill it out, see how the 2 kilometer eggs are going. If you do not end up getting this, but you really want yourself a Bastiodon or just the candies, then I would recommend putting it as your buddy. Once again, another 5 kilometer buddy. Getting into something a little bit interesting and a little bit on the controversial side. Should you walk a legendary Pokemon? Well, the biggest downfall to this is the fact that you are going to have to walk 20 kilometers to get 4 candies for that Pokemon. And that is equivalent of doing the 5 kilometer, 4 times. But in that case, there's going to have to be a real special reason as to why you would do this. Maybe a newer player wants to have it because they got it from a special research or something like that. You're not able to raid, you're not able to get rare candies. So if that is the case, I can understand why you would want to walk it. But at the same time, 20 kilometers, that's going to be a lot. If you cannot commit to 20 kilometers throughout the week, you're basically going to be throwing away all the candy, because you will get none unless you cross over that threshold. So definitely keep that in mind. Moving on is kind of an interesting situation as well, because we have Melmetal. And the weird thing about this is it will still take 400 candies to be able to evolve to Melmetal. However, we do not get the break on the kilometer distance. I wish it was 1 kilometer per candy, but unfortunately that is not the case. It is 20 kilometers per candy for this. I think you should focus on something else, and then maybe talk to people in your community and hope that someone has a Nintendo Switch and you can do the trades that way. So for Meltan, I'm gonna give that an X. I don't think that makes sense to do that one. Up next is the Lucario family. This is something that I will be going into the event with and kind of finishing it up before I end up switching over to the Gible. So yeah, I think that this is a really good option, probably like the second or third for me. Very rare option from the 10-kilometer eggs. So that is something that I've been doing, is just walking a ton with it right now. And I figured that that would be very smart for me to go ahead and finish it up, get all of the candies that I need to be able to evolve to Lucario, and then probably switch over to something like a Gible. But I do think Riolu is going to be a solid option that you are not going to be disappointed with, so I'm definitely going to give it an approval. Up next, we have the Tyranitar family. I'll be honest with you, this is going to be a huge no for me. I'll go ahead and explain why. Number one, Tyranitar is in raids as a tier 4 boss, and if you end up catching a Tyranitar with the Pineapple Berry, you will get 20 candies that way. That is definitely the best way you can go about it. And then at the same time, an added benefit throughout this event is the fact that Larvitar will be spawning even more throughout the 2-kilometer eggs and is also available in the 10-kilometer eggs. So I think personally there are way too many resources available to us for this case, so I am not going to recommend you walk a Larvitar. The next set of Pokemon are kind of interesting, and there's going to be some niche reasons as to why you want to do it. I would focus on these Pokemon if you're focusing on a kind of special research thing to be able to evolve up to it. But other than that, I would probably prioritize more rare Pokemon as opposed to just a volume perspective. Another honorable mention that we may want to put on this list would be a Pokemon like Wailmer, because it is also a 400 candy to be able to evolve it to a Wailord, so that may be something that you do want to go for as well. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this video. I want to know which Pokemon you are going to be walking in the comment section below. Definitely let me know. I'm very curious as to see what people are going to focus on. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.